morning guys, it's Sunday and today we're throwing a surprise private boat party for our friend John. So we're really excited. I did a bunch of stuff yesterday, kind of like little skewers. I assembled these skewers yesterday. They look pretty good. Yum. And we bought some drinks and we packed really efficiently, which always excites me, packing efficiently. So now we're headed off to meet them at Kamana Bay, where we'll also be taking our little boat out. So really excited for it. It should be a really good day. The forecast is great as per usual for the Cayman Islands. So yeah, it should be a good day. They're over there and they're coming over shortly. And they spotted us while we were trying to cross over sneakily to put the stuff that we have onto the boat. But Matt's like, they were always going to find out anyway, and it's not that much of a surprise because what else can you do on the island other than going on boats and stuff? Correct? So since I got back from my holiday, it's been like a bunch of life admin and birthday parties and birthday dinners and things like that. Yep, I'm wearing a sweater in the Cayman Islands. Today is kind of like freezing. It's sweater weather here in the Cayman Islands this weekend. It's like actually quite cool. I think it's about like 20 degrees Celsius, which is very cool for like Cayman standards. And you know, there's this like snippy breeze from the north, so making the most of sweater weather. I won a bid on an auction a while back, and it was for a sunset cruise. So got me and some friends on a sunset cruise today. happy 2022. Jen's about to rant. No, but good rant, kind of. I don't know, we'll see. Welcome to my first sit-down chat for 2022. I'm here in the office and it's actually like quite an echoey room because we haven't really furnished it properly yet. We are aiming to have this room nicely decked out by mid-year. I just wanted to talk to you guys about reflections for 2021 and manifesting your goals for 2022 based on Shett's recent podcast on the same topics. Now, if you're anything like me, you might not have really reflected on years prior specifically before, and you might not have actually set like New Year's resolutions or goals or anything like that. What I kind of generally do is throughout the year I might have like kind of a quick check-in with myself and think about what it is I want to achieve, and then almost write a to-do list for what I want to ideally achieve, like a tick of the box exercise, and there's no room for flexibility or anything like that. So I listened to these two podcasts. You guys should definitely listen to both of those podcasts because he summarizes it so well and he expresses it so beautifully, and I'm not going to do it justice here. But essentially, in summary, what he was suggesting that you focus on in terms of your reflections is kind of just broader questions like what has made you happy in the previous years and what are the steps that led you up to feeling that sense of happiness. But it's kind of more holistic, which I really like. In terms of the 2022 manifestations, it was also kind of in the same vein about just three basic categories about what would make you happy and fulfilled. And to frame your mind in that kind of way, I've never done before, and I thought that was like really helpful and really interesting. So I wrote down my reflections and intentions for 2022. When I looked at my life objectively, I have so much to be grateful for. And I had a really eventful year at work. It kind of makes sense why I was feeling as burnt out multiple times a year as I did. It was a really busy year, both in terms of just the actual work itself is busy, but also many changes at work with new people joining and training them or mentoring them. A year of just my personal growth as well at work. I didn't realize how hard I'd work until I actually sat down and thought about it. So sometimes you just kind of need to sit down and think about these things. Overall, when I was looking at all these different aspects of my life, I just realized I had so much to be grateful for. And even though it was hard in certain respects of not being able to, see my family or friends back at home and just missing everyone so much, I still have this incredible support system that seemingly feels like it's come out of nowhere, but I know it hasn't come out of nowhere. Like I know it was efforts on both sides of friendships that I've made here, and just incredibly grateful for that. So much so that I realized that last year I was probably complaining sometimes a bit too much, and I feel bad for complaining about things because I probably talk so much about how I'm tired or how I'm burnt out, but not necessarily telling them too that I am so happy and so grateful that, I got to travel or I got to deepen some of these friendships and things like that. So yeah, it was a year of... He's also asked a few other things like what has made you feel unhappy, probably the imbalance of focusing a lot on work, also the inability to get back to visit my parents and my sister and my friends back in New Zealand and Australia. As I said, looking back, I realized what made me feel unhappy a lot of the time was probably my own mindset. And I think I just need to take a step back and just refocus a little bit more what you want to do more of and what you want to do less of. And I think that's so important that he has made that distinction, because we are always wanting to do much more than what we are already doing, but it's not realistic. It doesn't make sense to just only do more, because you only have so much time in the day, you have only so much mental and emotional capacity for things. So I think it was really good that he also asked, what do you want to do less of? Because you need to figure out what's like important and what kind of the few things you really want to do and what things you don't want to do anymore, so you can like reprioritize. I think I do want to practice more of that mindfulness and gratefulness this year. I know I say this like every single year, but I really do want to get back into meditating and doing less of just judging myself and judging others, and just kind of doing less of being on that rat wheel essentially. It also asks about what your biggest success is, and I think in the last year I would have to say that my biggest success is probably feeling that self-confidence and self-esteem in my work as well as myself generally. And I never thought I'd ever get to this place, but I'm really loving it, that now that I'm in this place. Like, I remember the years prior where I would struggle so much with self-confidence and self-esteem, and I don't know if it's just a thing that just comes with age and, you know, when your mind just develops over time, but I'm definitely glad to be in this space now where I'm much more confident and self-assured in myself. So yeah, also actually asked you what was your favorite way to refuel last year. My immediate thought was like when I could actually switch off from work completely and just not feel guilty about not checking my emails. I definitely am trying to implement that more this year. I'm trying to look less at my phone when it's not work hours. I'm just setting those boundaries for myself and I like it. So then in terms of 2022 intentions, I really liked it that Jay Shetty focused more about growth setting instead of goal setting, less like metric focused and just more about what you want to do to kind of grow yourself. He focused on 3 areas, which in his mind is what, you know, fulfills people and keeps them going. So in terms of categories of learn, launch, and love. So in terms of learn, it's what do you want to learn this year? It's such a big statement. I want to learn so many things, but I think this year's focus, given my reflections, is that I do want to learn self-care for the soul and the creative mind as well as the mind. I want to learn to make time and space for myself to do like my hobbies and creative things. I want to learn mindfulness, meditation, and just generally all of those things kind of like add up to what I think is a balance in life, which is what I've always been trying to achieve. But this year I do think that with these kind of tools and the way I've reflected on things, I could get closer to that. In terms of actually learning a skill, I wouldn't mind learning like coding and getting back into Mandarin again. Yes, I know, like it's just, I feel like both of these things are always on my list, but I really should just focus on those 2 things, because normally in every year I'm like, oh, learn Mandarin and German and French and like, you know, a bunch of stuff. So I think I need to like focus a little bit more. What do you want to launch this year was another question that he asked, and this I thought was actually quite a hard one, because I think in the past I've always focused so much on work that I have kind of lost touch with myself and what I might want to do that's not work related. So I kind of like kept it broad actually. So I want to launch a consistent investing and financial program for myself. And I want to launch a space for me to kind of just do my hobbies. Like, what do you want to do that you love? Kind of similar to the before, like just creating content that I love, creating fun experiences for others, and traveling and experiencing new things. When I actually wrote my 2021 reflections, they actually did make me cry. I mean, I cry at most things anyway, but it made me cry because I think like I was just bottling it all so much. Bottling everything, like bottling the negative, bottling the positive, just bottled up, like I was just bottled up. This year I'm hoping to be more expressive with myself. So yeah, so thank you for sticking around. I have no idea how long this video is going to be and how much editing I could just put myself through in terms of just editing myself talk, but thank you for sticking around for however long this video has been. Definitely check out those podcasts and let me know what you think about them. Bye!